So how do you take a bathroom from this to this for under 15K? Using our 10-step framework, I share exactly how we did it. With help from Oliver Cheung, leaning on his architectural background on the way. With trading costs increasing, some people are saying it's impossible.
With bathroom quotes around Australia ranging from 17 grand to 50 grand, it was time we shared the steps.
So join Bianca, Freddy and me as I walk you through how to renovate a bathroom for under 15 grand. I'm Todd Sloan. This is the Pizza and Property Podcast. Let's get into it. But first, how much value does a bathroom reno actually add? Looking at comp sales, it was clear to hit our overall reval goal, we had to completely renovate the bathroom. A little cosmetic reno wasn't going to do the job. Plus, painting tiles in wet areas on properties that you're planning on keeping, you're just inviting problems later. But this is a decision we let the research decide for us.
Although for a renovation, you can expect that to increase the value of the property anywhere between $30,000 and $50,000.
This is Madeline. She's the property manager we lent on for a lot of local expertise.
From a rental perspective, again, it's important to remember that it is suburb dependent. However, you can increase your rent anywhere between $20 and $50 per week. Every suburb has a ceiling of what people are prepared to pay or are able to pay. So there's no point spending $40,000 if it's only going to increase the rent by a very marginal amount.
So we have our brief, we have our budget, we know what kind of value it's going to add. We need to start with the plan. In a second, I'll share the floor plan illustrating how we landed on the final design. We were starting with a decent space, but it just wasn't functional. The shower was way too small, more like a vertical water coffin. The vanity didn't have a clear line of sight to the mirror, and there was this strange void that was being used as laundry storage. So after some measurements, it was time to start talking design.
So one of the key constraints that I can see right now is we've got this door. To maintain it as cost effective and one less trade involved, that is a chippy, I really want to keep that door in its current position. The other constraint that I can see straight up is, let's think of how we're going to use this. So you're basically down here, washing, doing your hair, makeup, cream. That's almost too short. It's not capturing the full length of what a mirror could be.
And we can't go any higher because of the window there.
Yeah. So windows are constrained.
Got it.
We've only got this space to play with.
Got it.
Utterly not functional. What I'm quite intrigued about is what's happening behind this dead space. So maybe let's just pop across, have a look what's behind there to potentially see how we then maximize this space. What I'm going to suggest, Todd, that's dead space right now. Let's look at closing off this wall. This comes off, the back wall comes off to really open up the space on the inside of a bathroom.
Yeah.
But even when we pick storage space, I guess you're quite lucky enough that you've got two fantastic storage cupboards here, acting as either a linen cupboard or additional storage space. And
Fantastic
that's why
is a
it
very
goes
generous
back.
description.
Yeah. That's why it goes back to the premise of let's leave that as a constraint because we don't want to be shifting these walls off to lose either one or two of these. So what I'm going to do is we're going to use this beautiful canvas as to map out our ideas.
Dan, I'll jump in the bath with you, mate. Let's do this.
We've pre-measured earlier before. We've got a footprint of 2.4 by 2.6, which is massive. We know very roughly that we've got our door opening here as the constraint. So what I want to be looking at is all our water taps and water points are along this back wall.
Yep.
Our toilet is here. To keep it very cost effective, let's maintain your bath and your shower within, and let's look at shifting your toilet pad along this way. And we'll look at introducing a vanity across here. So if we're flipping across here, that's a beautiful canvas to maximize that wall. Vanity goes in that spot, toilet gets across into that spot.
And talk me through as well, everyone listening thinking, why are you leaving the toilet there? This is from a bit of a cost-effective point of view as well.
Absolutely, from a cost-effective point of view. But the one thing that I want to put a bit of a question mark here, Todd, is ideally that's a most maximized design. So you've got toilet, person one over dunny, and person two basically doing washing, brushing teeth. One thing of shifting your toilet across can potentially add dollars from your plumber. So that's a one additional scope of works that you get your plumber to look at and validate what the cost difference is to shift that toilet on the 90-degree bend wall here.
Gotcha. Okay. And then talking through the rest of the option, where's the shower and bath going?
So we'd look at doing our existing bath remains here, and the open shower goes across in this end. That spot there, you could either maintain the same layout at the moment, but I think again, the constraint of what we're having is we're dealing with an 800 by 800 size shower. I think functionally that is on the smaller end.
It's doable, but if I try and pull my arms up, like my elbows very easily touch the sides here. So yeah, I could shower.
Let's remember you've got the shower screen open at the moment.
That's right. I don't actually think this properly closes, but you're right. Oh, shit.
So once you lock yourself in, you're basically, it's too...
Little vertical water coffin.
Correct.
Yeah. Talking about option 2.
Let's jump into the floor plan. So to us, it made way more sense to go with option 2 because that gave us more space for better bathtub, bigger bath, shower, rather than just having extra space in the center of the bathroom. So by going with bath roughly here, shower sitting over here like this, so we've still got a little bit of space over that side, and definitely taking out this wall here. Quick side note, whenever you're taking out walls or before you do any demolition, make sure you get your asbestos testing done and you've had the right checks done to make sure stuff isn't actually structural or load bearing. So for us, taking out this little section here and actually just giving that back to the bathroom made so much more sense because now all of a sudden we've got this whole space to use, which meant keeping the toilet pretty much where it is was going to work well, and having the vanity just off to the side here, keeping our door opening the same way. Now we've got a way better function in the bathroom. We've got a decent sized shower, great sized bath, vanity off to the left, actually giving us space to have the mirror because we've got to remember the windows are just right here. So if we kept the vanity where it is, I'm not looking in the mirror, I'm looking out the window. And as far as a little bit of storage that we lost in the laundry, like Ollie said, we've still got great size storage cupboards just over this side. Plus we can always put some more storage just in the laundry here. Now that we had our design finalized, it was time to go shopping for fixtures and fittings. This is an area we saved big dollars. I'll show you the exact materials list in a sec, just so you can literally do this yourself if you want. After several standard trips to Bunnings, buying the floor and wall tiles and a few other bits and pieces, we weren't actually super pumped with all the selections until Ollie suggested this place called Morningstar. It's a wholesaler in Melbourne that imports bathrooms and kitchen products from China and sells them at pretty reasonable prices. Now, there are some downsides to using a company like this, but overall, we're pretty happy with it. We ended up getting about 90% of the fixtures from them. Which reminds me, important side note, when you're actually selecting all your fixtures and fittings, be really mindful to be aware of your state regulations. Quick example, if you're putting in new taps and you're doing this in Queensland instead of Melbourne, if they're not low flow taps or shower heads or fitted with water restrictors and actually signed off, you'll be paying the entire water bill for your tenants. It's like a tiny little thing to know up front that can save you a lot of money later on down the track. So make sure you understand the state legislations, just make it easier on yourself. But now the fun begins.
Well, listen, I better get back to work. They're finally paying me for this. Oh yeah!
A few very quick tips on demo to make your project go smoother. Number one, 100% make sure your services are isolated. Do this safely. Don't just jump in and think it's a smash room to have fun with. Whilst it is fun, it's much funner if the water's where it's supposed to be and you're not electrocuted. Tip 2, old bathtubs can weigh like 100 to 200 kilos. It's one of the few things we don't have footage of. It took us 4 of us to actually get this old bathtub out. This thing was insanely heavy. So be prepared to have extra hands. And number 3, always be prepared to find extra jobs when everything gets stripped back, which is where we hit our first issue. The floor was completely rotten and waterlogged, meaning it had to come out. We didn't bargain on this because this isn't normal. But like I said, things pop up. But the demo crew that we'd booked that had other jobs already scheduled in, meaning being an impatient person, I jumped in with a crowbar and pincers and I had to spend the night ripping up the rest of the floor. Again, you don't have to do this. I like to just keep things moving, get it done. Once everything was stripped back to zero, we were left with this, a completely blank canvas. And now we could run our final design checks. And then I'm gonna open up a little bit more about what trades we used and when. Using this simple exercise with some cardboard cutouts, it really actually helped bring the whole decision-making process to life for this. And I actually called Ollie back around for a second pair of eyes on this one.
So initially we had the bath on the yellow trace option, sitting straight on that back end wall. So that's a freestanding oval bath, 1500 white.
It looks so tiny in the camera right now. All right, and so if the bath is going in the corner here, what's next?
A vanity unit. We had the vanity sitting straight on this back wall. Piece of toilet. So we've got our bath, toilet, vanity. Last missing piece of the puzzle is our shower.
All right, and so if we place that.
We've got our door hinges here. We're going to flip our door open. Got our toilet, beautiful freestanding bar. We've got our vanity. We've got our shower. So there's ample circulation space. One thing, Todd, that I'm just going to let you know is right now what we're looking here. We've got empty space. So just visualize you fixing your vanity. And we're going through a wall hung vanity. So if you were doing a floor mounted vanity, you'd have no issues because you'd be mounting it to the floor. Because you're doing a wall hung freestanding vanity that is getting fixed to the wall, you want to be making sure that you're having fixing points once you screw through the plasterboard. So let's say, Todd, if we're mounting your vanity at this height,
yeah,
you're basically not having any structural support once you screw your screws into your plasterboard.
Gotcha.
That vanity will basically just straight right through.
At this point, we're sure that all of our designs are finalized. We know where all of our assets are going to be, and we also have the products themselves. So we have the measurements that we can then pass on to our trades. But how much do we actually spend on fixtures at this point? Let me break it down for you. So for our shower and install was about $900. That was one of the only ones that was like product and install included. Bath was $799. Vanity was $310. Toilet was $250. Bath tap $100. Sink mixer $65. Shower head $110. Bath spout $140. Toilet roll holder $35. Soap dish $15. Towel rail $45. Shower grate $19.67. That's very precise. Waste strap $15. $35 for bath waste. Mirror $25.80. IXL heater $115.87. Exhaust fan $16.32. Which this actually came up in a comment as well in a previous video. Hot tip: this was a sale. Like, that's not a normal price. Whenever you go to Bunnings, always check out the middle aisle. Over the years, we have got so many bargains just because it's like the first place we go to. It's like if you go to IKEA and you check out like the as-is section. If you're renovating a place, you don't rely on these prices, but chances are, especially when you're doing whole house renovations, I've got $700 ovens there for $200. I know Bianca got kitchen cabinets once, I think at like 80% off just because someone ordered them and it just so happened we were using something similar. So remember, middle aisle, Bunnings, always check it. Now we've made the final checks, it was time for the trade team to come in and get to work. This stage is all about clear communication. It's your job as the renovator to make sure every trade has got the right measurements, they've got the right products, they know where everything's going, but also that you've got the appropriate checks in place, because as you're about to find out soon, mistakes can pop up on every job. They just need to be caught. So how do you even find reliable trades when you're, especially actually when you're renovating borderless? Because these guys had their work cut out for them. Especially working on a house this bad, with things like finding like the heat lamp had like no earth connected to it, just like dangerous things. You want good people in your team. And you've got to be ready for things like this popping up when you're renovating. You almost want to try and gamify it, knowing that issues are going to come up. Your tradie is going to either text you or come up to you with a choice. Like in this case, do you want to leave things and be the dodgy renovator? Do you want to fix it? It's going to cost X dollars extra. And having good quality trades is one of the keys to actually making sure you're getting the right information from them so you can make the right decisions and keep moving the project forward. But where do you find them? There's a few different ways that we do this. Is talk to your PM. They're one of the first experts that you set up on your team. Lean on their contacts. They've got a phone that is just filled with tradies and local tradies that want to make sure they're doing the right thing by them because they get consistent work from them. It's not to say it's always perfect. Sometimes I've been referred trades from a PM that aren't the best fit. So you still need to do your own diligence and make sure you're asking the right questions. But when you compare this to finding like random trades or you've got no referral basis, it is a slam dunk to actually finding good trades for your team. And it is the best place for you to start. If you've seen part 1 of the reno video, you'll already know what happened when it came time to actually put the wall sheets on. The plasterer decided that after quoting the job, buying the materials and dropping them off, apparently the job was too big. Meaning I jumped straight into the pairs framework, which we explained in that video, problem, effect, alternative, reorder, to get this issue solved and get us moving on with the project. And I want to point something out here, because the solution actually came from 2 removed. Naturally, I chatted with Ollie amongst other people that I called, who later spoke work with a few people and later ended up speaking with Stephen, who recommended a plasterer, Luke, which is who we ended up with. The point I'm trying to make is I didn't know Stephen at the time, but by reaching out to people, reaching out to networks, we were able to get connected with a solution that didn't completely destroy our timeline or our budgets, that we wouldn't have gotten to if we literally just made 1 or 2 phone calls. Like that came from doing a proper ring around. And Stephen, I definitely still owe you a Coke, mate, next time I'm in Melbourne. But before the walls went on, Ollie actually popped in for another chat. And I'm glad he did, which you'll find out why in a sec.
So we've got a bit of an issue here, Todd, and that feature bar, that was the first thing that I've noticed just coming straight through the door. Your mixer tap and the height that it's been mounted looks overly too low for me. So your top of bath is 600 high. Let's run a measuring tape here, and we're bang on 625 to the top of a spout. And the biggest challenge that you're going to have, which unfortunately is not going to work, Todd, is the center of your mixer tap is at 600 high without even considering the spindle of a tap.
We need to fix this. And can you just explain for anyone that's still looking at this going, I don't see the problem. Why is this such a problem, mate?
Problem is, that's our mixer tap. So that's where this will fit in, and that will give you hot water, cold water, put it out for water to come out. The height of the bath is probably about that point. Yeah. So that means, especially how your bath is going to the back of your wall. Unfortunately, our beautiful tap here is going to be at the same height of your bath. So that means that is simply not going to work.
Now the solve to this.
The problem solved to this is unfortunately another trick for the plumber down here. You're remounting your noggin across at roughly, I'd say about 800 high to give you that 200 mil clearance from top of bath height to get plastering back on track. Yes, you've lost 2 days worth of work, but ultimately it's saving you 2 weeks from fixing up a very bad mistake.
This made me feel like such a muppet because like normally this is something that B's the second pair of eyes. We're checking stuff like this off. Unfortunately, with Fred singing the song of his people throughout the night, she was probably in mum mode more than renovator mode. This was definitely more challenging, but I'm going to own it. It was a mistake I made. And this is the whole thing, like park your ego. This would be so easy for me to make up excuses or leave this bit out of the video, but I don't want to. I want to share this kind of stuff with you because I would rather every day of the week have an extra challenge, but still have done this with Fred as a newborn, with B and I kind of somewhat sleep deprived, because it's not so much about the problems that you have along the way, that they're always going to pop up. It's about how you approach them and how you solve them to keep yourself moving forward, to keep growing that portfolio. Once the walls were on, it was time to start screeding and waterproofing. Really simple but crucial tip here as well. Make sure that you've got a folder on like Photos app on your phone and actually sort out all of your product lists, all of the products that you purchased. So, you know, dimension, sizes, everything. And also all of your certificates, because things like, especially like in Victoria, you need your waterproofing certificate. And when there's like just so many things flying around with a reno, it is so easy to just misplace this stuff. And you're not going to think anything of it at the time. This is a future you thankful thing. When you're like, oh my God, yeah, what was the measurement for that? What was the brand for that? Where was their certificate for that? Having it like all in one place in your phone, so much simpler. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Because remember how I was saying before in Queensland, how you need to have the right water restrictions and signed off to actually on-charge your tenant for water? Luckily, again, we had all of that documented for our Queensland reno. And so in the case of screeding and waterproofing, this is why it's so important to actually use a trade that is qualified for this. Because when you watch waterproofing get done, you're like, is that it? I could have rolled that on, saved myself a ton of money. Maybe you could have, but you can't give yourself a waterproofing certificate. Just keep that in mind. So, and with screeding and waterproofing, generally you want to allow a few days for this because like you can't do all of this in one day because you've got dry time between each job, between all of the layers. But once it was all done, it was time to get onto tiling and grouting. I love this part because it's basically where this box starts to actually turn into a bathroom again. It's like it starts coming to life and go from looking like this to a nice clean looking like tiled bathroom almost like this. And communication with your tiler here is key. Between all of the layers, like putting down your waterproofing, your screeding, then your tiling, then your grouting, like you're gonna wanna stay in constant communication, not to that annoying point, but just so you know where things are up to. Because the more you can shrink that gap between tiler being finished and plumber coming in to do like the final fit off, the more it's going to shrink your timeline overall for the whole project. And you think about it, if you get a few days between like every single one, that can add weeks or months to your timeline. Shrinking them as much as you can within reason is going to put money back in your pocket. Because in our case, as soon as we had the silicone, the grout, everything was dry, our plumber was straight in there, installing the bath, the toilet, the vanity, getting everything done. Which brings me to the next point, plumbing and electrical fit off. This part is really hands off unless you're like super DIY. So our glazier ended up getting the shower screen sorted, plumber did all of his work, and Sparky did all of his, making sure that we had the order right as well, because we knew that there were certain things that our Sparky was going to put this cool little neon underneath the vanity in, but the vanity needed to be installed for him to actually do that. Again, coming back to this constant communication with your trades, making sure it's organized. So now that our trades are all finished, what did all of our tradies add up to? Now for us, our trades actually charge for whole house. Like this wasn't literally just a bathroom reno. We did an entire house renovation. So we've done our best to isolate it to like just the bathroom figure. All up, it cost us about $9,000 in trades. I think the actual figure that we've got, $8,860.76. Again, this is the best as we could like sort of peel whole of housework into just bathroom work, which a lot of the time is exactly how this works over a bigger job. Tyler was probably about $2,500, $3,000 like just for the bathroom side of things, because he also did laundry, splashback and others. But what did it actually cost overall? Before I tell you the final figure, I want to give you one quick last tip with this as well. And this kind of ties back to the budget and how you actually control costs overall. We ended up tiling 1.2 meters high, which pretty much saved us half on our wall tiles, meaning our labor cost with another $500, $600, $700 it would have saved. So that's around $1,000 just there, just by tiling to 1.2. Plus, it's the flexibility that you actually get in the design. Changing colors later on down the track by painting the walls is a super cost-effective way. If you need to give the bathroom a little bit of a freshen up before a reval in 5 years' time, to really maximize those equity gains you can pull out. And I loved hearing Darren Palmer from the block, like one of the judges, back this up in an episode we recorded with him a little bit earlier in the year. We didn't tile to the ceilings.
Smart.
Yeah. Why smart?
Smart because you save on labor, you save on materials. Paint is flexible, infinitely flexible in terms of color. So budgetary wise, great. Time frame wise, great. And also you've got more flexibility to put something on there like a paint color or a wallpaper or something interesting, as long as it's not a paper wallpaper. You use vinyl or something like that.
God, that's actually literally why I like doing it, because in 10 years time, if we still own this place and we've chosen some tiles that look really cool now and in 10 years they don't, it's hard to change. Well, it's not hard to change, it's expensive to change.
Yeah.
And which brings us to our final step. So for our painting and final touches was pretty straightforward. We got the walls painted when we were back home. B ended up knocking up the window frames, put the mirror up with the tape, a couple of shelves on the walls, like just really simple little touches. And just those last thoughts of like, is there any other little 1%ers we can add to this space? And had a bit of a final walk around with Ollie.
Looking at dead space or spotting dead space, we've been able to open up a bathroom, vanity comes in, or given space for a vanity. And that's a 750 vanity, which you landed on.
A 900.
900 vanity. So yeah, I think it's fantastic. Even circulation space really works of opening it up across. We've got nice flow to vanity, nice flow, circulation space to toilet, bath and shower.
What are your thoughts? This was something that got changed around last minute. This was actually supposed to be open at the back.
Yep.
I'm actually happy that this got changed around, because I think this is actually better now that it's enclosed than open. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree with you, Todd, because, and I've got no doubt, the reason why is we're basically entering here. Initially, the idea of the walk-in shower was walking into a fixed tunnel-like space with very limited space now that you've got the bath in here.
Yep.
So I'm glad that the decision was then made to have an enclosed shower, which still gives you plenty of circulation space and access to really go in.
What is a good size? Do you remember me getting in the last one?
Yep.
I think this is like 850 by 1200, something like that. So, the nice rain shower head.
I feel like I can actually move here. Like,
Yep.
and
Plenty.
I'm pretty big, so I've got a lot of. I can sit down. I can have a little tea, but I probably shouldn't say this on an episode, but I do enjoy sitting in the shower after a big day sometimes. This would be a nice shower for a shower sit. You've got plenty of room for it. But a more appropriate way to sit down in the bathroom is the bath. Now this bathtub, the thing that got me about this was that it was like $800. We discussed this in the previous check-in,
that realistically, if we had have got like a cheap, like a Stilo bath or something like that, it probably would have cost like $300, then building the hob around it, getting it tiled, pulling everything into it. We're probably still going to be around that kind of $800 mark anyway. So, but that's something that it could easily have been $2 or $3 grand on a bath like that. I'm so glad we did it though, because I think that this is something that actually just brings it from, oh yeah, it looks nice, to that next level. But speaking of bringing things to the next level, what are the biggest standouts for you, Ollie, that I guess could be done better next time?
So for me, number one comes down to storage space, and really using that full length, empty canvas effectively, Todd, of what we have here, and really bringing it to life, whether it's a full bay of storage. You can put the shelving up, you can mount the vanity cupboards, again, and that's why the exercise of taking a photo where your studs are, pre-sheeting, is so important. So that's where it becomes handy now. If you wanted to come back and mount 2 overheads across, 2 vanity cupboards, you do know where your noggings are, per se.
100%.
That can still retrospectively be done and mounted onto your studs.
X-ray photos. Love it. Final thoughts, color. Personally, I actually think this needs a touch more color. I know this isn't dressed, like this is you and I standing in, like those are literally the towels from the Airbnb that Bianca and I are staying in. And we took the plant as well. but I feel like it needs something. I feel like there's a little bit too much white going on.
Yep.
The only splashes we've got here. What are your thoughts on like painting like a mint green, a peach, or just something that has a little bit of energy to it without too much of a statement?
So a couple of easy ones. Some nice pot plants which basically hang and creep down would be an easy fix. Again, you're just getting that semi-natural light from outside. These plants do not need a fair bit of light to thrive on. So that could basically bring that element of colour in. But again, I would almost tend to want to feature either this wall here or this back wall here.
So why is that?
They are your biggest front-facing walls, right? Predominantly this one where it gives that impression of illusion into the space, and similarly across on that end. So the 2 first walls that you would particularly see when opening your door to your bathroom.
And you just pick one of them?
I would typically only want to pick one of them. There's no reason why you wouldn't want to do the entire 4 walls. Personal preference is always just pick one feature wall to make it pop out.
I reckon I'm going to take your advice with this, and I think maybe I'm going to do a colour probably on this one. Doesn't really matter if it's this or this either way, but just a little bit of something, because it's going to be all of like $40 worth of paint, but also some shelves, because I can already see the email coming in from the PM going like, hey, the new guys are really happy here, but ... and then getting this list. So being able to throw a few $100s at something like this, negate that feeling of this isn't quite right after a tenant moves in, like let's keep that like happiness level up high. To me, that makes a lot of sense, man. I'm pretty happy with this all in all. There's definitely things I'm going to do differently next time, but there's so much that we've done right in this one that I think is awesome, man. And your help has been brilliant with this, Ollie, especially with that tap, man. I feel so stupid for almost missing that, but thank you for actually rocking up with your tape measure. All right, let's actually have a look at this. 450, where would the tap have been?
So 450, Todd, your tap would have been at this point.
Right, so there's no way that was working.
Your top of your bath was at 600.
Yep.
What did the guys pin it down to?
So the inside of the bath.
Yep.
So here is 450.
Yeah, so that's why he took it from 450.
Correct. So he made the wrong measurement. That's what he said.
Yeah. So he took it from 450. That's why it was basically sitting here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope everyone now can actually visualize the amount of work and effort that needs to happen where you're putting off your bath. Your tiles are coming back out, your waterproofing, your studs are coming back out. So it's basically just putting yourself back 2 to 3 weeks out of a almost completed jobs.
So even if the plumber was to go, yep, this is my fault, I'll cover that, it still is the time they can't.
It's just the time.
Yeah.
And all through that, you're not able to put a tenant in.
So our final numbers on the bathroom were in materials, we spent $3,351.71. Now that one's pretty easy because like a toilet is for the toilets, doesn't break it up over the whole house. The labor and trades, we've tried to be as precise as possible with this, $8,860.76, coming to a total of $12,212.47. Now, the big thing that I want to leave you with this is this the nicest bathroom in the world? No, it's not. Like I can quite confidently say that. Is it a nice bathroom? Yes, it is. And this is the big thing that I want you to really understand with this. There's a big difference between renovating to flip houses and renovating for portfolio growth. This has helped us pull out another $100,000 in equity to be able to refinance the property, improve the yield, improve the cash flow, because it's Melbourne, it's not a great yield, and move forward into the next purchase. That's your job when you're renovating for portfolio growth. Hit that market expectation. Control your budget. Massive thank you to Ollie for this one. Your guidance was so valuable, mate. Second pair of eyes, like expert, the whole kit and caboodle. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and it inspires you to take action. Do the thing. Watching the video about doing the thing, it's not doing the thing. Reading about doing the thing is not doing the thing. The only thing that's doing the thing is doing the thing. My name's Todd Sloan, and I'll see you on another episode.